So let's get right into it. If you're a parent of a child with dyslexia, you've probably been there. You walk out of an evaluation with a diagnosis, a label. But then what? What are you supposed to do with that label? Well, today we're going to talk about why that label just isn't enough and how a much deeper understanding, what we'll call a profile, can literally change everything for a struggling reader.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? The person who said this is a dyslexia specialist, but she's also a parent of kids with dyslexia, so she gets it. A label tells you that your child has dyslexia, but a profile tells you what to do about it. And that difference, well, it's the whole ballgame.
All right, so let's break this down, this crucial difference between a label and a profile. They might sound kind of similar, but in the real world, they send you down two completely different paths. This slide really lays it out perfectly. A label, it's just a name tag. It confirms, yep, there's a problem here. But the profile, that's the treasure map. It shows you why your child struggles, pinpointing the specific breakdown in their reading system. It's like a label tells you you have a flat tire. A profile tells you exactly where the nail is so you can finally patch it up.
And this is exactly why that map is so important. The research is crystal clear on this. You can have two kids sitting right next to each other, both with the same dyslexia label, who need totally different kinds of help. One might really struggle to sound out words, while the other can sound them out just fine, but reads at a snail's pace. You just can't see that difference with a label alone.
And that leads us to a really serious point. When you guess at an intervention and get it wrong, it's not just ineffective, it has a huge measurable cost. And we're not just talking about money here. We're talking about a child's most precious resource, their time. 100 hours. Think about that. That's roughly how much extra help a child might get over an entire school year. A really important study used this exact amount of time to see what happens when you match the intervention to a child's profile versus when you don't. And the results, well, they're pretty mind-blowing. Okay, just look at this chart. It says it all. After 100 hours, a whole school year, the kids who got an intervention that did not match their profile made basically zero progress, a 0-point gain. All that time, all that effort for nothing. But the kids whose help was matched to their profile, wow, they saw a 22-point gain. That's enough to go from being well below grade level to being smack dab in the average range. Same time, same effort, but completely different worlds. So if guessing is so risky, how do we stop guessing? Well, we start by understanding that dyslexia isn't just one thing. Researchers have found at least 6 different profiles, and each one is caused by a different kind of breakdown in that complex machine we call the reading brain. Now, you don't have to memorize this whole table, but let's just look at a couple of examples to see why this matters so much. See that phonological profile? That's the kid who really struggles to sound out words they haven't seen before. They need intensive work on decoding. Now compare that to the RAM/fluency profile. This kid can decode okay, but they're incredibly slow. They don't need more phonics, they need to build speed and automaticity. See? Giving them both the same program would be a huge win for one and a total waste of time for the other. Okay, so if these different profiles exist, the next logical question is a big one. How on earth do you find out which one your child has? And this is where the type of testing you get becomes absolutely critical. This table just makes it so clear. A typical school evaluation, its job is to answer one single question. Does this child qualify for special education? That's it. A screener, that's like a smoke alarm. It can tell you a problem probably exists, but neither of those can tell you why the problem is there. Only a deep, comprehensive assessment can give you the actual profile and the roadmap to fix it. And this is really the main point here. Don't think of a deep assessment as just another piece of paperwork. Think of it as a precision medical tool. It's like an MRI for reading. It allows a specialist to see exactly what's going on inside your child's brain and create a truly targeted plan. So what does a tool like this actually measure? Well, for one, it looks at core skills like phonological processing. That's basically the ability to hear and play with the individual sounds in words, like taking the k sound out of cat. A weakness here points to some of the most common dyslexia profiles. It also measures something called rapid automatized naming, or RAN. This is all about speed. How fast can you pull simple, familiar information like letters or numbers out of your memory? And here's the kicker.
You absolutely cannot guess a child's RAN ability just by looking at their phonological skills. They have to be measured separately to tell those profiles apart. And honestly, it goes so much deeper than just that. A truly deep assessment looks at the whole picture: decoding, fluency, spelling, writing, even the difference between what a child can understand when they listen versus when they read. It builds this complete, nuanced profile of your child as a learner, showing not just their struggles, but their strengths too. All right, let's pull all of this together. When we move past that simple label and get to a specific profile, we can finally stop the guesswork and start following a clear, evidence-based plan. The path forward is actually pretty clear. First, you have to recognize that the label is just step one. Second, seek out that deep assessment to discover the real profile. And third, make sure the help you get is specifically matched to that profile. That is how you turn years of frustration and guesswork into a real, clear roadmap for success. I really want to leave you with this powerful idea. We so often think of getting a diagnosis as the finish line, right? The end of a long, hard search for answers. But it's not. It's the starting gun. It's the moment you finally have the information you need to get on the right track and begin the real work that leads to real progress. So the question to ask yourself tonight is this: is the support my child is getting based on a guess, or is it based on a roadmap? Because knowing the answer to that could be the one thing that finally unlocks their future.